Welcome to Lesson 5 of Unit 11, Home for a Penguin. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we make sure solid ice doesn't melt in our habitat? They will describe properties of insulating materials and describe how reversible and irreversible changes are used to create materials. They figure out which materials are the best insulators for their penguin habitat and which materials will allow people to still see the penguins. In the Engage, start a discussion with students about how insulation can keep things cool or warm by trapping the heat or cold inside. In the Explore, students will work in small groups to make observations of these materials and describe the properties on Student Journal page 16 and 17, Insulating Materials Experiment. After they have seen all the materials, review their observations. Then, ask each group to make a hypothesis to record here. Explain to students that now they are going to try to figure out how to test these materials to see which one will keep the habitat the coolest. Set up the insulating materials experiment as shown here. And record the temperature with the heat lamp turned off. After 10 minutes under the heat lamp, read all the thermometers, recording the data on Student Journal page 17, then turn off the heat lamp. In the Explain, review the data collected, returning students to their original question. Then use the question prompts shown here to guide them in understanding that lower temperature readings are better because they show that the material is kept cooler. Students can record their conclusion at the bottom of Student Journal page 17. Then return to their hypothesis and evaluate if it was accurate based on what they have observed. Provide students with access to this website, Materials Are Good Insulators, to review some facts about insulators. Use these question prompts to discuss the experiment and help them use their observations as evidence to support their claim. In the Elaborate, use these questions to continue discussing penguin habitats, including what kinds of materials are used as insulation. Use these articles on penguin habitat designs and the Read Aloud Guide on Teacher page 12 to discuss further. In the Evaluate, remind students of the criteria for their penguin habitat. It must keep penguins cool and allow people to view penguins safely. Then direct students to Student Journal page 18, Meeting the Needs of Penguins and People. Ask them to choose the best material for the jobs listed and explain their choice. By the end of this lesson, students will describe observable properties of various materials and conduct an experiment to determine the insulating properties of various materials.